Most photographers focus on gear, editing, and even taking more photos, and yet they still feel stuck. Why? Because growth isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently. Research on deliberate practice shows that this is the most effective path to mastery. Not just repetition, but intentional improvement. You've probably heard of the 10,000 hour rule based on the work of psychologist Anders Ericsson, but what he actually emphasized was quality over quantity. Focused, structured practice over just clocking hours. And doing the right things consistently, that starts with a creative practice. Maybe you can relate to these feelings. Growth feels random or slow. You start strong on a new project, but then fizzle out because you're not inspired or motivated, or you're struggling to believe in yourself. Constantly looking for motivation or inspiration. In fact, that's why you were scrolling until you found this video. And that scroll is part of what's keeping you stuck. Dopamine-driven distractions that feel like action but don't move your craft forward. You feel guilty for not feeling creative, especially when you're supposed to be on for a client. Here's the thing. Without a consistent practice, your growth relies entirely on mood or chance. That's not sustainable. And it's definitely not scalable. So today, I'm not talking about exposure, and I won't even mention which focal length you should be using. I have plenty of videos for that. I'll save gear talk for Mark's next video, despite the fact that there's always links in the description that you could explore to support the channel. I love gear too, but without a practice, the best lens won't help you grow. I'm Brenda Bergering, and today, for your creative frame of mind, I'm challenging you to build a creative practice. So let's get into it. Why it works. Why do you need a creative practice? Why should you keep watching to get these tips rather than going out to buy a new lens? Because having a creative practice removes friction from your creative life. It removes decision fatigue. It builds momentum and creates a rhythm, so you're not starting from scratch every time. It helps you build trust in your own process, and it helps you refine your vision, not just your technique. Building a creative practice is like going to the gym for your creative brain. You don't wait to feel inspired to go. You go so that you can be ready when inspiration strikes. Let's talk about that gym analogy for a minute. If you've ever struggled to start a workout program, you'll know what I'm talking about. They say the hardest part is starting, so sleep in your gym clothes or put your running shoes by your bed. Just commit to driving to the gym and then just commit to 10 minutes. I used to tell my yoga students who wanted to build a home practice to just commit to doing 3 sun salutation. And here's the thing. Once you start moving your body, once you do those 3 sun salutations, your body usually starts to feel good, crave more. And the next thing you know, you did an hour of yoga. Don't believe me? Try it. 3 sun salutations, I'll wait. Here's what anyone who regularly goes to the gym knows. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The endorphins make you feel good, your body starts to feel good, and over time you get stronger and you have more energy. But it's more than just physical, you're building a habit. Think of any habit you've stuck with. It gets easier, right? That's your brain literally rewiring itself. It's called neuroplasticity. The more consistent the habit, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. Okay, you get the point. But what's the creativity equivalent of putting your shoes by the door or doing 3 sun salutations? Let's talk about the simple, repeatable actions that you can build into your day, even when you're not feeling it. First off, what is a creative practice? It's like any practice. It's a simple, repeatable habit that develops your eye, your voice, and your skills over time. Practice is not performance. It's not game time pressure. It's about training and building momentum. So practice is where you experiment, fail, and build, not where you prove. Carol Dweck's research shows that it's not the most talented people who grow, it's the ones who believe that effort leads to growth. So we're gonna have a growth mindset. The best part of a creative practice is you can get creative with it. In my last creative frame of mind video, I talked about why photographers struggle with creativity and what to do about it. We explored how decluttering your space and your mind makes room for new ideas. We talked about how rest and recovery aren't lazy. They're essential for giving your brain space to make connections. And we reframed fear and identity, shifting from, am I good enough? To, what's possible if I try? All of that is practice. It's how you prepare yourself for inspiration to strike. But if you want something more photography specific, your practice might look like shooting for 15 minutes a day, editing just 1 photo every day, going on 1 weekly photo walk, journaling about light, mood, or composition. It doesn't have to be rigid, it just has to be yours and something that you'll return to. Now, if you want a structure for this kind of flow-based creativity, let's borrow from the actual framework of flow. First, you're gonna set a goal. Pick something you want to improve, something that challenges you just enough to stay interesting. Number 2, focus deeply. Be present. Try to block out distractions and give your full attention to the moment. Number 3, let go of that overthinking. Don't get stuck in self-doubt or judgment, just do the thing. And then number 4, enjoy the process. When you're in the zone, even the smallest moments can feel meaningful. That's the magic of a creative practice. It's not just about improving your work, it's about enjoying the process of being fully engaged with what you love. Okay, so now that you've got a sense for what a creative practice can look like, what's getting in the way? Let's talk about getting rid of excuses. Building habits is hard, like really hard, because our brains are wired to save energy. New habits require conscious effort, and effort feels like work, especially when the reward isn't immediate. Old habits, even unhelpful ones, are easy because they just run on autopilot. They're already carved into our brain's wiring. Building a new habit means fighting that inertia. You're asking your brain to do something unfamiliar without instant payoff over and over again. That's not actually appealing from a biological survival standpoint. But the good news, every time you repeat the new habit, you're reinforcing a new neural pathway. Over time, the effort drops, the resistance fades, and the habit becomes easier. That's neuroplasticity in action. The trick is to start small. Make it easy so that you can't say no. Be consistent. Repetition beats intensity. And celebrate progress. Dopamine helps reinforce the loop. I've actually built a pretty solid meditation practice where I meditate for around 15 minutes a day, every day. And I've been doing it for over a year. But guess what? It took me at least 15 years of trying to build that practice before it actually became a habit. Seriously, I've wanted to have a meditation practice since 2009. Now, I don't even have to think about it. It's just what I do when I wake up. But it's true. I had to start small. Initially, I think I just committed to 8 minutes. But if I only had 3, I'd do 3 and count it. Again, repetition beats intensity. I also used an app that tracked my progress, reinforced my progress as I got from 1 month to 2 months and so on. But again, I've been trying to do this for years. So why did it work this time? Habits are easy once they're automatic, but getting there means pushing through discomfort, delay of gratification, and distractions. That's why most habits don't stick unless you have something deeper driving them. You need a strong why, a reason that matters to you. Not just, I should do this, but this helped me become who I want to be. This supports the life I'm trying to build. This connects to my purpose, identity, or values. When your habit lines up with something meaningful like creativity, freedom, adventure, or self-trust, it stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a choice. That's the commitment part. You're not just building a habit, you're becoming someone who shows up for what matters. For me, I had some health issues pop up that made me re-examine my priorities. The experience made me look at everything I was doing and determine if I was living my values. I went on a journey of making sure I aligned my priorities, the things I spend my time, money, and energy on, seeing if they truly matched my values, the things I claim to believe and put purpose in. For me, it was that why piece that helps me commit to so many of the practices that I have now. Excuses are easy. I'm too tired, it's too hard, I have somewhere I need to be, the kids are screaming. We can come up with a million excuses to skip the workout or the photo walk or our meditation, but I just need a much stronger and more meaningful reason to push the excuses aside and do it anyway. This is where the true work is. This is what we need to fix. We say we want to grow as a photographer and that we're willing to build a creative practice to do so, but then building the practice is hard and we give up or we don't stay consistent. Fear takes over, or the comparison, or any of the other elements of resistance. We need to fix our commitment, our why, our dedication. So if you're committed to developing a creative practice, let's talk about other ways to make it stick. Permission to be messy, imperfect, inconsistent. You don't need to earn creativity by being productive first. That's a big one for me. With creativity as my job, I'm always worried about productivity. I feel guilty just practicing creativity when I have a client work to edit. But it's important that we give ourselves permission to experiment, to make bad art, to play. Read The Artist's Way, or Self-Compassion Research by Kristen Neff, or explore various anti-perfectionist frameworks if you don't believe me. It might help to come up with a mantra to remind yourself. Maybe something like, done is better than perfect. or weird is better than invisible, or practice is productive. The next P is place. Create space and ritual. I mentioned this earlier and we talked about it in a previous video. We need to create a place conducive to creativity. This means our physical space, including a clear desk, an organized camera bag, a tidy workflow for importing cards. It also means our mental and emotional space. Taking time to walk, meditate, or anything that resets your nervous system and lets you tune in to the creative flow of the universe. You can dive into environmental psychology, habit clues from James Clear's Atomic Habits, and mindful principles if you want to know more. I like to think of it as a ritual rather than just a routine. We want to make creativity feel inviting and sacred, not rigid. What art, candles, or quotes do you need in your space to honor your creativity and place the value on it that it deserves? The next P is practice. Build the reps, not the pressure. We've already talked about practice a lot. Remember, daily isn't necessary, but regular is. Tiny habits consistently is better than intensity. Again, the workout analogy. One big workout doesn't make us fit. Daily exercise does. And on to play. We want to make it playful. Have fun with it. Whether that means trying a new photography genre or imposing gear restrictions like shooting all day with one lens. Those self-imposed creative limits can make it fun, make it playful. Find something that works for you. And lastly, progress tracking. We want to track the progress, not to put pressure on ourselves, but so that we can notice our growth. Like my app that tells me how many days streak I'm on with my meditation. Remember, you grow what you measure, even if it's just how often you showed up. And the payoff, your growth accelerates. You stopped second guessing yourself. Your work becomes more you. So if you want to grow as a photographer, fix this first. Build a practice that works for you and actually sticks. Let me know in the comments what yours might look like or where you've been stuck. And if this helped, share it with another creative who needs a little structure in their journey. Which part of this feels hardest for you right now? Which of the 5 Ps do you already have and which one are you still working on? What's been the biggest excuse keeping you from building your creative practice? And how might your why help you move through it? Next up, we're headed outside in bad light to talk about how to shoot when you can't control the sun. So make sure you're subscribed. But in the meantime, watch more from the Creative Frame of Mind playlist. I'll see you there.